we started in 2021 when no one was believing machine can generate the code that can be accepted by human beings. So with the AI, you always need to think how it can solve what particular problem for me. If you define a problem and then you try to fit AI into it, it will be very hard time to get the exact result that you need. If you do not understand the dynamics of an ad market, you will not able to build the AI product. It's not easy to build an AI product on top of the cloud. Like, it's not just a wrapper. You need to understand each and every small and big nuances to build the right product, and then you can create a big impression. Otherwise, if you are just building a random wrapper on the LLM, anyone can replace you.
So now, moving on, next up, we have two builders who scaled fast and broke the rule book. Vishal Virani, founder of Rocket, scaled a vibe coding product to jaw-dropping 4.5 million ARR in just 2 months. And we also have Gautam Rajesh, the founder and CEO of AiSensy, who built the partner ecosystem to help the brand scale on WhatsApp. So now let's welcome Vishal Virani and Gautam Rajesh for a fireside on scaling, fundraising, and product decisions that actually move the needle. Come on, everybody, put your hands together and let's welcome both of these gentlemen to take over the stage for all of us.
Hi everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us on the 11th edition of Evolve. It's a house full, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart to come here. This is our largest event. Last was 600 people. This is almost 1,000 plus. Luckily, we had Vishal on the 3rd edition also of Evolve. How did it feel back to come from Surat's Evolve to Bangalore Evolve?
Yeah, so right now the story is Surat to SF, but Bangalore always feel good. And yeah, as we talked yesterday, whenever we raise the round, like in my past venture of Device, we raised the seed round. At that time, it was a 3rd edition with like 150 folks.
Yeah.
Now we raise a $15 million round, and now we are having almost 1,000 plus audience. So it's like a scale of AiSensy event is equally proportional to like Rocket fund size.
Yeah, right. Vishal Virani's startup growth is equal, right. So Vishal, fastest growing startup in AI, right? Raising $15 million in like 1.5 months, going to 4.5 million. What's the revenue now?
Last round was like seed round, $15 million of seed round from Salesforce Venture and the Excel.
Right, and $4.5 million, as revenue, right? What's going on in AI? What are you building that is catching up so fast?
So we are building a vibe solutioning platform. Definitely, like current product looks like in vibe coding, but that's not the ultimate vision. What we are building is like how we can solve problem of a day 0, day 1, and day 2. So we categorize like entire problem statement into 3 things. So nowadays, building an application or writing a code using the AI is like become a commodity. Anyone can build applications using any vibe coding platform, but still people are not able to figure out what to build. As if they're starting fresh, or like if they have an existing product, what feature that they can launch to engage the user, or how they can avoid a churn rate and everything. So ultimately, that's we call the day 0 problem, where you need to put your brain. And ultimately, right now, we are building an advanced agentic system, where our system will help you to figure out the right problem, market research and everything, which is a day 0 problem. Day 1 problem is definitely generating the code. And day 2 problem is like how you will scale, how you will make sure the security and everything. So that's how we are building that entire spectrum, and which we call a vibe solutioning platform. And very soon in our product updates, you will say we are just like 4.5 month old company. But after 1 year, if you will look at the product, it will not look like a vibe coding platform. It will be ultimate vibe solutioning platform. And that's the vision that is working really well for us.
Right, but today if I say, there are multiple platforms, like namely I would say Replit or Lovable, right? More or less building the same thing. How would, Rocket stand out from these tools?
It's very simple. Like you can put a prompt in any of the platform of the world, versus in Rocket, you will realize like kind of an output that we are able to generating. And that's like a complete end-to-end output. That's where we are able to give you a solution. So let's say yesterday, like we were on dinner and I put one very simple one-liner prompt on Rocket system, like build a event handling application for AiSensy. And ultimately in just like 20 minutes, 8 screens of Flutter applications was ready without any kind of further prompting. So what we are trying to do with the Rocket is like how we can take out the cognitive load of writing lots of prompt to get the relevant results. We are trying to understand what users require. So ultimately, that's in 20 minutes of a deep research that we are doing along with the code generation to provide a very comprehensive results. So where we are, we are trying to create a kind of a differentiation at the solution level. So we are not good at like creating the landing page and a brand website because that's not the focus is all about. But if you are building a SaaS applications, dashboards, internal tools, or a native mobile applications, that's where like Rocket is having a really good upper hand, and because of that we are able to get this traction. So ultimately in this world of an AI and the vibe coding, we are trying to create our own differentiation, which is on the real application part. So our vision is very clear. We are not building the application for the hobbyist. If you are a serious audience, you will like Rocket. If you are build a project for a hobby, or if it's for the kids, they will not like our product at all.
Understood. Also, last time we met, right, 3 years ago, right, you were building TheWise, right? And this is a pivot from TheWise to Rocket. What did it take, because there also you raised around $10 million, right? And here this is 15 now. What changed in the last 3 years that you had to pivot?
What it takes to do a pivot is just encourage, nothing else, because it was a kind of a comfort zone. At TheWise, we are having like more than 350,000 users. We are growing steadily. Like it was all organic motion that we are having. We are having almost $3 million in bank. We are at like $1 million of ARR. But what we realize, like with the kind of and pace that AI is evolving, if we will not change ourselves, we will be vanished. Like a Figma to code can be just one feature of an like entire product. So we realize like, okay, when you have the money in bank, that's the right time to think about like, okay, what you can do next. Are you able to think beyond what you are able to see right now? Even like internally, whenever we did the town hall, when GPT-3 launched, the ultimate town hall was like that. This is just an iPhone version 3. Consider GPT-3 is iPhone version 3. We don't need to worry about this version. We need to worry about like iPhone version 15, how powerful it's going to be. So let's just imagine how powerful GPT-15 will be. And will we survive in that market with the kind of a product that we are having right now? And that was the ultimate thought. And as I said, like you just need a courage to get out of your comfort zone. And will you able to build something which is like generational, which will stay there in market for like 5 years, 10 years, even with the kind of a pace of AI everyone is observing. So that was the one thought that inspired us to do this pivot. Another part was like we started in 2021 when no one was believing machine can generate the code that can be accepted by human beings. So in 2021, we started a code generation startup, and we were like in fact, like we were the first one in India who started this thing as like you just need to upload Figma designs and we will able to generate like Flutter, React, Next.js code from out of your Figma designs. So we understand this space very well. And ultimately with the power of AI, we realize this is the time when you can think about the entire spectrum instead of just doing a Figma to code. So my entire 3.5 years of startup is now one feature in our vibe coding platform.
Amazing. Also, everyone, Vishal has been building this from Surat, right? Why have you not moved to Bangalore or SF, and you've even raised funding from Surat? How was that journey?
My answer can be quite controversial. So when my investor asked, like, why are you not moving to Bangalore? I said, like, just give me 3 reasons to move to Bangalore. He said, like, here you will get the talent. I said, like, I'm building a world's first code generation startup from Surat with the talent, and we already have a product. When we got the first round, we already had like 30,000 plus users. We were able to like showcase the entire product, which is like out of box. So I said, like, I have enough talent there. Then what is the second point? Like, okay, you have an investor connect. I said, like, okay, Excel is already put the money in Surat. Now, what kind of an other investor network that I want? And then he said, like, a community and all. I said, like, okay, that's a kind of a distraction that I consider. So whenever I want to get distracted, I will come to Bangalore. In a week, I will take the enough distraction. I will go back to my nest and I will build something. And I believe the same for the SF. Like, we are the only truly India headquarter company, a Surat headquarter company where Salesforce put the money. So we are not like a Delaware-based company where they put the money and my team is operating from Surat. We are truly Surat headquarter company, like private limited.
Big round of applause.
And what we believe is like same. if we are able to build this from Surat, why I need to move to SF? Definitely we'll hire few folks in SF wherever is required. And if I want to get a distraction, every 1.5 month or 3 months, I will travel to SF. I will get the enough distraction. I will go back to my nest. I will think thoroughly whatever signals and noise I got from the market, and I will build at my own. I don't need to be at a place where like every day you get distracted. So that's the ultimate philosophy that I'm having, and on the basis of that, I'm building it from Surat from last 3 years.
And on the other hand, what are the benefits you see of building from not a tier 1 town or like the Silicon Valley of India, like Bangalore? What are the benefits that you have seen?
As I said, like very less distraction. So see, we are living in the hype cycle. Just imagine, like just try to recall last 2 years of AI. First of all, GPT-3 came and everyone said like, okay, now software developer is going to die. Still, people are not able to figure out how to generate the code with the AI. Then something happened and people were saying like, okay, prompt engineering is die now. Then the context engineering. Before sometimes ChatGPT launched that agentic system and everyone was saying N8N will die now. And on the another day, N8N is raising 100 million plus round. We are constantly having a lots of false information around that. And being into like epicenter of that stuff, you will be constantly in that kind of a noise where you will change your strategy every day because you are hearing something from someone. Being into Surat, we can stay away from that. We can think from the first principle whenever we receive the information. And ultimately, information is available on internet. Everyone is reading that story on a Twitter, and they are trying to create their own opinion and the point of view, and they are trying to share that knowledge around their community. So you can get that knowledge from anywhere. Ultimately now, because of an internet, everything is available everywhere. And if you are sitting in a less distracted zone, you can just think from the first principle, okay, this is relevant for me or not. People are saying like prompt engineering will die, and still just give a one random line to a GPT and you will realize what shitty result it will produce it for you. It's not going to go anywhere. The prompt engineering, the context engineering is a real thing when you are building an AI application. And ultimately that's where, believe me, like we host like multiple dinners in the SF with the folks from the Google, Meta, and everyone. And the debate was like people still don't know how to do a prompting with the foundation model and how to do a chat. Most of the people are just doing a chat with the LLM system. Doing a chat with the LLM system and writing the prompt is like fundamentally two different things. Okay, just give me this, give me a beautiful stuff, and like, okay, think like an Steve Jobs and write a PRD for me. That's how LLM does not work. If you really want to get into detail like how LLM works, you need to sit constantly for 15-16 hours. You need to see every result. You need to debug it. Then you will realize, okay, if you are writing this particular word in your prompt, the result is drastically different. And that's how once you will figure out that fundamental knowledge of a prompting, you will realize how powerful prompting techniques is all about. You will not able to learn it in a distracted way. You need to learn it at your own. And that's what like we are able to figure out in Surat, because like we don't have any distraction, we don't have alcohol, we don't have anything. So ultimately just sit for 16 hours and work and just figure out like how you can get things done.
Got it. Amazing. Another question that comes up is, what about enterprise, production grade reliability of the apps that are built on vibe coding platforms, right? And second is security, obviously. How do you handle that?
So see, vibe coding is in very early days. To be honest, from a vibe coding platform, you cannot build a production grade application. Even I'm building that vibe coding platform and I'm saying this. If you cannot put your backend on any vibe coding solution because it's like in a very early stage. What you can do is like how you can quickly conceptualize your entire UI. How you can figure out. So let me give you one use case. We have one user based in US. He used our platform in a very different way. He's running a property tech startup. So he put a one prompt and at the end he just wrote one line. Give me a very basic solution of my problem. Then he put the same description and he put a line like, okay, give me a generative AI first solution. Same problem and he put like, okay, give me a solution that no one can think of. He put the same problem with a 10 different line at the end. And when we talked to that user for a feedback, he said like, okay, before any vibe coding platform or before AI, I was not able to run my experiment at scale. Now, in a day, I have 10 different ideas in front of me for my same problem. So I'm able to create a better solution for my user. So vibe coding platform is giving me that wisdom of thinking through, which I'm not able to do it earlier. And if I want to do it, it may take a 1 month of time, which I don't have. So when it comes to enterprise use case, I'm not saying like right now any of the vibe coding platform is capable to deliver the enterprise grade security and the enterprise grade scaling. But what they are doing with the vibe coding platform is like how they can fast track their product management work, how they can conceptualize very quickly. Another use case that we see is like how they can serve their user in a very quick way. So ultimately, as I said, like no one can put the backend on any vibe coding platform, but when you have a backend, can you explore any vibe coding platform, Rocket or anything, where you can upload your Postman APIs or a Swagger APIs and you can directly integrate with your front end? Vibe coding platform right now very, very well capable of generating a good front end integrations and everything. So here is the thing, like with the AI, you always need to think how it can solve what particular problem for me. If you define a problem and then you try to fit AI into it, it will be very hard time to get the exact result that you need. But ultimately, if you just try to realize like what power that platform has and how I can like expedite my entire process or how I can redefine my entire org structure or a processes so I can adopt this AI tool very quickly and I can deliver a better result for my user is something that you need to think of. So in future, definitely people will able to solve it, but right now that's not the time where you can expect enterprise grade security from any vibe coding platform.
Amazing, amazing. Thanks for the honesty. Also, a lot of people here want to build, AI applications. They want to also, implement AI for their business. What should they take care of, when they're doing this?
First of all, you need to answer this question to yourself. If you want to build an AI product, how deeply you understand the AI? Because as I said, the biggest problem is like we have a very basic knowledge about the prompting, the context engineering or advanced RAG technology and all. So if you do not understand a foundation or a fundamental principles of the AI tech, ultimately it will be very hard time to build AI product. And many times I heard this argument like, okay, I'm a non-tech founder, how I can understand this? But believe me, this is a time when even non-tech founder needs to upgrade themselves. They need to understand how, at least how they will understand this functionality of this tech. So ultimately they can like create the plan for their product. Another most important part is like if you want to create the USP in this particular market, you need to understand a domain very well. If you do not understand the domain, ultimately someone will come and will replace you. But so for an example, if you are building an e-commerce, if you understand the user behavior, if you understand that entire dynamics behind the e-commerce, if you understand those things, you can build a really good AI product for the e-commerce. But if you just do a basic research and if you just jump into creating the AI product for the e-commerce, it will not work. The same way, let's say marketing. Right now, everyone of us knows like writing a copy, creating the a kind of creatives for your ads is a kind of pain. And everyone can think like, okay, I can build an AI product for this. But like, really, do you understand psychological hooks behind that ad copy? Really, do you understand a kind of psychology behind creating that image, which can help you to hook your users? If you do not understand the dynamics of an ad market, you will not able to build the AI product. Definitely, you will able to create the idea very quickly because like even if you put a prompt in a ChatGPT, it will suggest you hundreds of ideas. But you will only and only able to create a differentiation when you know that vertical or that market like in depth. So ultimately, if you want to build an AI business in this time, you need to have a deep understanding of how AI works, another how that market works. And third part, which is like most critical nowadays, is like, okay, how you are going to create your aggressive GTM strategy. Because it was a time when people were talking about a free users. Now this is a time if you are building an AI product, everyone will start talking about like what is your ARR, what is your revenue, what is your adoption, what is your aggressive plan. And if you are saying like, okay, I got like 100K ARR in first 3 months, it was a very good number in SaaS. Now no one give a shit about that 100K in 3 months. Now you need to have a very aggressive plan. So ultimately, do you have any person in your team or do you understand the GTM very well or not? I'm talking about building a very good AI startup. Like if you want to build a bootstrap company, you just need to consider like that fact of a gross margin. Because in the AI, in the SaaS, we are having 80-90% of the gross margin. Now in the AI, like, okay, 50-60% or 70-80% cost is going to be LLM cost. So how you will survive when you will build the team, when you build the GTM plan and all. So these are like 3 to 4 things that you need to consider if you are planning to build your AI startup. Understanding of AI, understanding of market, understanding of gross margin and how LLM functions, and the GTM.
Amazing, amazing. Also, you scaled to like 4.5 million ARR in like 2 months. I guess now it would be much more. What was your GTM plan?
So for us, I called it unfair advantage. During Device, it was a like developer focused tool, and we built a very strong SEO at that time. So to just launch quickly in a market, what we did is like we forward like entire Device traffic, which is like millions of impressions that we are having on the developer side. So it was a targeted ICP. So when we pivot, like still my ICP is same. So ultimately, that's where we got that kind of an advantage where we utilize the traffic of Device. Another, because of a product, we got lots of word of mouth. So with a just one person GTM team, I call it a team because she is only one who is managing our entire GTM. So, and still she is the only one who is managing our entire GTM stuff with the kind of an agentic AI that we are having. We got this kind of an aggressive ARR, but I will not say like, okay, everyone will get that unfair advantage. Because of like 3.5 years of our work at Device, we are able to scale it to like 4.5 million in just 2 months.
And also, you got the funding in like 1.5 months. What was the process of fundraise? And what are investors actually seeing today in AI startups?
This is a really good question. So we got the fund from like SF-based VC, and it was an inbound interest. So the first thing, if you really want to raise a good round, you need to have a product in hand. Okay, so there are like 2 nuances. If you are from X Stanford or X Meta or X something, it will be very easy with the idea you will get the fund. For a person like me who always introduced himself as a X of my X, the reason is like I am a government engineering college student. After college, I started my first venture. So I never been into job of like Google or Meta. So I started my first company right after the college. So I'm X of my X, sitting in Surat. So I have a like zero checklist of an VC where they can put the fund in me at the idea stage. So we always focus on building the product first and then pitch to VC and either launch it in the market. So that's how we got the inbound interest from the Salesforce venture. When they tried our product, actually they passed the deal of like big companies. I will not name it, but they already passed the deal of few big shots, which is known in the vibe coding platform, because they didn't like the results. Versus when they put the prompt in our system, like they were surprised, like how any platform can generate this kind of results. And that's how they reach out to us. Then they bring their AI team to understand the architecture and everything. So in just 17 days, from a first call to 17 days, we had a term sheet in our hand. Just because of a product, because when they reach out to us, we were like just 4-week-old company. So in 15 weeks of our inception of Rocket, we got the $15 million in our bank account, and we also announced it in market. So that was just in 15 weeks of journey, and that's purely based on the right product and definitely a good GTM. But product was the one thing where they already had the interest, and our job was very easy to convince them like we are the right company to put the money.
Amazing. Also, product-led GTM is understandable, but now you have started closing enterprise deals in US. What is the GTM for that? What is the way to go?
Okay, so again, it was an inbound. Right now we have a strong PLG, and because of that, now enterprises also started using our product. And I think we are the only company who signed a very big contract with a Fortune 100 company in just 4 months of its inception. And again, it was an inbound interest. When they tried the product, they realized like, okay, we are the platform which they can integrate, and it's not like for their internal team. It's even the larger use case, which I cannot disclose right now. But it was one of the most unique use case that we built for that enterprise, where we are going to have a multi-million dollars of contract, and it was with the inbound interest. So what we did differently is like instead of hiring a sales team, we hire a really good CPO. And now we are hiring the product folks. So instead of sending a salesperson to close the deal, now we are sending a product manager to the enterprise so he can give a solution to them. Because in the world of AI, no one understands the solutioning part. Maybe with a good presentation, people will like your presentation, but people may not understand what are you building for them. So what we are doing very different is like how we can provide them a solution. upfront. Like, okay, this is the problem. In just 3 days of POC, this is a solution that we can build it for you. And we are like putting these terms on table, like no one in the world can build this kind of a solution for you, and that you can realize in just our 3 days of POC. And that is working really well for us. So instead of having a sales team, we are sending our product managers to these enterprises. And in just 4 months right now, we are talking to almost 4 to 5 Fortune 500 companies, and all with this inbound interest that we are having. So when they experience the product, almost you solve half of the things. And then you just need to figure out the solution for that particular company. And that's a kind of a different GTM that we are picking right now.
Pretty amazing. Also, I would like to have a understanding of what kind of team structure you have, at Rocket, right? And what is the ML? How many ML engineers? How many SDs? Or how many people in sales? Like how large is the company?
So we are a 50 people company. A very different kind of even like we are still struggling to figure out our structure at because we have one designer for all these 50 engineers. So it's like 40 engineers plus 10 other folks. We have largest, like after engineering, our largest team is our accounting and the finance, because we are very, very careful about our legal and all this due diligence and all. So we have three people in our accounting and finance team, one designer, one product manager, one like generalist kind of a person, a 2-person in success manager, rest everyone is engineer. And out of like 42 engineers, we are having like most of them are AI engineers, like 30 plus AI engineering team, and like rest are in front end and QA and all.
Pretty amazing. With a small team, what you have developed is, pretty amazing.
Yeah, we have a very flat hierarchy, no managers, nothing. It's like a 7 people of core team and then like direct engineering team. So we work with a very high velocity, so very flat structure, no formalities, no meetings, just do your work, nothing else.
Nice. Okay, yesterday we were having a conversation where you were mentioning about, that whenever someone is using, LLMs also like ChatGPT or, Claude or, Perplexity, whatever, they need to know what does each model do good, right? I would like you to share a few insights on, what should people use which model for?
A very great question. And actually, I want to highlight one use case as well. So let's take an example of perplexity. Again, little bit of a controversial point of view here. So when you are not figuring out like facts, so for an example, if you want to buy a car and if you are asking a perplexity, what are the specification of, let's say, a Mercedes-Benz E-Class, you will get a right answer. But let's say if you are asking a perplexity to give you a GTM strategy, and if you don't know about the GTM strategy at all, will perplexity give you the right answer? Should you believe on that answer or not? Why? All perplexity and everyone is working on the web search. And understand, whenever you put the query in Google or anywhere, first 10 blog will be the marketing blogs. That is not written to educate you. It's just for the SEO part so they can sell their product. And how I realized that fact, in my first venture, Crore, we were running a service company. So my marketing team wrote a lots of blog on like architecture and all. So one fine day I got the lead from a digital bank. Like, okay, they want to build a digital banking solution. And can I provide the architecture to them in just one day? My developer team said no. So I searched on Google, can I have a architecture of a digital bank application? And fourth link was of Crore, which was my first startup. And when I read the blog, I was super disappointed because it was like full of nonsense. Because it was written by my marketing team and they were focusing on long tail keywords and all those stuff. And it was purely to generate the lead. And that's where I realized I'm consuming like 80 to 90% of the fake knowledge, which is for the marketing, not for my benefit or for my understanding. And now all the web search, like Perplexity or anything, when you give a prompt like, okay, give me a GTM strategy, it will take the 10-15 first link, which is like optimized for the AI search and all, and it will give you the result. And when you don't know about the GTM at all, what you will believe is like, okay, these are the facts, and let's start building my entire strategy on the knowledge that I'm getting from the Perplexity. And that's why I said in this world, what you need to realize is like how you think from the first principle, how you get into details of everything. So when you are using any LLM for any use case, you need to understand from what sources they are capturing the real data. Is it the fact which will help you or not? And that's where once you understand this, you will be able to build a good product for your audience. So let's say a OpenAI is good at something, Claude is, everyone knows, like Claude is good at the programming. Then if you are doing, let's say, market research, public market research, maybe Grok is really good. So you need to understand it very, very well, and you need to put lots of time in evaluating all this LLM. So ultimately, whenever you start building, so there are two things. If you are building a use case for a vertical, any particular specific vertical, it will be very easy. But if you are building a horizontal product, in that case, you know, like you are going to receive millions of different kind of inquiry, and how intelligently you can pass that query to respective foundational model to provide the accurate and the contextual result to your user. So you need to understand for what use case you are building this, and where you will use the perplexity, where you use a Grok or OpenAI or a Claude 4.5 or whatever it is. But you need to understand it first. Like, okay, whatever knowledge you are producing is the right or wrong, and you need to put a very hard efforts. And that's why, like, no, it's not easy to build an AI product on top of the Claude. Like, it's not just a wrapper. You need to understand each and every small and big nuances to build the right product, and then you can create a big impression. Otherwise, if you are just building a random wrapper on the LLM, anyone can replace you. But if you really want to build a long-lasting company, then there are like hundreds of points where you can build a differentiation. So understanding of the LLM, routing of the right LLM, building the right context engineering will help you to build a really good product.
Pretty amazing. It's time for a quick rapid fire round, right? Indian VC or US VC? What would you?
A few Indian VCs and most of US.
Building talent in-house versus hiring PhD researchers.
Most of in-house. So ultimately, if you are building a uniqueness in-house, if you want to just have a good speed, outsource.
Got it. What is the biggest lie in AI going around right now?
Biggest lie in the AI. This will die in some time. Nothing is going to die. Ultimately, things are going to reform, but nothing will die.
What is the best advice someone has given you in the last 3 years?
Just focus on your next milestone. So in the age of AI, I always used to say, like I don't have a 3 years of plan. What I do is, like, I just invest my time to create a 3 months of plan, and then I will think further, because like even I don't know what is going to coming up in the future. So just focus on the next milestone and build a strategy for that.
What hurts you more, GPU shortage or talent shortage?
Right now, talent shortage, because GPU shortage is again hypothetical.
Amazing.
I never faced the GPU shortage at all.
In the age of AI, what is the key, distribution or product?
I don't know about the key distinction, but as I say, like in the age of AI, just think from the first principle. Have your own thoughts, have your own knowledge will help you to thrive.
Amazing. I think we'll open this for the audience. If anyone wants to ask any question to Vishal, we can have the mics.
Many congratulations, Vishal. It's inspiring to see your product and you're doing well. I was just curious about, because there are other vibe coding platforms, and I myself don't believe in vibe coding platform as such, because I myself have a good understanding how software engineering works. So what kind of software engineering principles, context management, multi-agentic stuff that you have used, and what kind of agentic structure in order to generate the code by using software engineering principles, like you have PRD, then you have, user stories, and then you have high-level architecture, then you have database schema, API specs, and stuff like that. So there is a step-by-step way when we do conventional software building, right? So if you follow such kind of principles while doing vibe coding also, then you will have better quality products. In fact, the concerns about which I think Gautam also asked, security, all that stuff.
I got your question. So for like explaining it detail, I think I need to request Gautam for like entire 1 hour of session separately. But let me briefly give you the answer. And as I said, you don't need to worry about, okay, so why you need to follow the traditional methods? The question number 1 that you need to ask to yourself, because we are living in the world of an AI. Instead of an SDLC, I will call AI DLC. Instead of an like typical software development lifecycle, AI development lifecycle can be what? Another part is you don't need to think from now. It's like, okay, this is just in Claude version 4.5 or something like that. How far-fetched the dream is, like when Claude 7 will come and it will not solve the problem of scalability, security and all. And the right example of this is a Devin. Devin built the entire product in the age of GPT-3. And they were the only player who built this entire stuff, and only VCs knows like what they're building. Right now, Devin is like very, very good adapted product in the enterprises. We cannot afford the Devin. It's a different story. But their enterprise license is like scaling in a really good way in the US market. Why? Because they build the product for the future. They know when LLM will become powerful, they will be the only product who will able to deliver the right results. And right now, they're able to see that results with the Cloud 4.5 and all. So the thing is like, a very brutal truth is that if you stick to a traditional methodologies, there is a chance of getting vanished. Because like you cannot think AI will not evolve in time. Right now, you don't like the vibe coding platform, that's your choice. But as I said, right now, vibe coding platform is getting more and more powerful for front-end programming. So why you need to follow the typical methods of writing the PRDs and all when you can just put a prompt and you have the entire results. And this is not like said by me, it's said by like a top-notch PNs in the US. Like, okay, I'm not writing the PRD if I'm able to showcase like entire solution to my user. So why you need to write the long PRDs? Why you need to write the long user stories if it can be replaced by the AI? So sticking to that particular, a typical SDLC is not something that I believe. And right now, maybe there are few issues which will be replaced very soon with the new advancement in the LLM and all. So you just need to think about it, why you need to stick to the LLM, like how you can figure out a right use case of the tooling and you can build a very fast deliverable process in your company with the AI DLC. So and I think like we have a limited time, so we'll catch 101 and I will get into
it. Yeah. One last question,
Yeah, hi. Congratulations, Vishal. I just recently met Axel and I was talking about you actually. Well, my question is about the context and the prompt engineering part which you have described. If you use OpenAI ChatGPT, for example, from past 1.5 years, I'm using only one. There are some threads I have maintained because I wanted the conversation to continue because I wanted the ChatGPT to learn my past conversations. So I have created a year ago a GTM strategy because specifically for my startups, and I'm using the same thing, my ideas from past 1 year. It is giving me a good, results, but it's been fine-tuned for a long time. But does that make sense?
See, it's a good strategy. Everyone is having their own strategy with the LLM. So what I truly believe is like when you have a very long context, particularly with the ChatGPT or anything else, sometimes start hallucinating. So what I always do is like I create a thread with a purpose, and sometimes like, okay, I have a very long thread. So how I can move from this thread to Claude? So what I simply do is like, okay, I ask GPT to create a small sections by summarizing my entire thread. I create a Notion doc out of it. Then I connect my Notion doc with the Claude, and then I build further on top of that. So ultimately, I can say like, okay, is there any chance of getting a better result with the Claude or Grok? So I use a premium license of all the platform, and eventually I just play with all these things, like where I'm getting the better results. And generally, I stored my all such kind of a knowledge base into Notion or any particular doc, which I connect or which I can put in a fresh thread to get the relevant result. So sometimes when you have a very long thread, because you are doing a multiple activities as a GTM, but you will realize if you have a different. So for an example, one thread just for the performance marketing, one thread is for core GTM, one thread is for a team building and something like that. But the knowledge is same. So ultimately, you can create a separate knowledge base and using a different thread where you will get able to get a very good results instead of like maintaining everything in a one thread. Again, that's my technique. Here, every technique is good. Ultimately, with which technique you are getting a better result is something that you need to figure it out.
Great. Thanks a lot, Vishal, for the amazing insights. I think everyone in Vishal will be outside for a while and you can ask questions one-on-one. Really sorry for not taking more questions. We are really tight on the schedule. Thanks a lot, Vishal, for doing this.
Thank you. I request both of you to stay back. We have a token of appreciation for you coming up right away from the entire team of AiSensy. So let's have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together. And this was such an interesting session with Vishal Virani and Gautam Rajesh Shelley. Let's have a big round of applause.